y'all, it's Laura and I am scrapping a Christmas photo today. This one is for my daughter Olivia's 9x12 album, and I'm showing you how I use this wreath paper, cut off that floral cluster at the bottom, flipped it over and used the pattern paper on the back, and this is going to be the basis for my design. Now this is one of my quick and easy design styles, and I have been asked several times for folks to have quick and easy backgrounds that you could put together pretty fast and that don't require a lot of fancy tools. So to get this floral cluster cut the way that I did use my fussy cutting scissors and cut it out. And how much white paper you leave is really up to you when you fussy cut. I don't prefer to leave much, if any, but if you would prefer to cut off those more detailed tiny florals and just stick to the big ones, you can do that as well. And I'm going to do a couple of paper strips underneath just for a bit of a border or a base for these florals to land on. And I end up using 3 different paper strips and then my photo. Now at the very end of this video, you will see a sketch that I made after I created the layout, so it can help guide you through the different layers when you go to make your own version of this layout. So again, we're going to keep this one really quick and easy. I'm going to bring out this beautiful green to give a nice contrast to the pinks and the rainbow stripe that I have behind my photo at present. It is nice to play with the light and the dark in color schemes so that you can not fade too much in the background and have your layers stand out just a little bit. So this nice little pop of green is just going to help bring in the green from the florals as well as contrast with the lighter pinks and reds that are already on the layout. Now I chose to use a rather large title on this one, which isn't something that I do super often, but it was something that I really wanted to do. I have fussy cut a whole page of titles out and have separated them into small bundles with a little piece of paper saying the word that they spell out, and that way they're ready to use for me whenever I like. I did decide to bring in this wood grain paper to mount my photo onto. This adds a little bit of extra warmth to the layout that I really enjoyed, and I think it needed because there's a lot of cool colors happening in the background. The pinks and the reds in this collection are fairly cool based. They're not super orangey red, they're fairly blue toned, and so having this nice pop of warm color behind the photo really helps to balance those cool colors out. Now I could have added my journaling spot here at the bottom, but I do decide to move it up to the top later on. Here are those titles. I have them all separated and paper clipped together with a little piece of paper that says what the word spells out. That way I can immediately pop them onto a layout without a lot of time and effort into cutting them up in the moment, and they're ready to go and ready to scrap. That is one of the steps that I take to prepare my collections and kits when I first get them in so that I can pick them up and immediately scrap with them and not have to worry about all of these fiddly steps in the moment when I want to create. This makes me more efficient so that I can scrap more quickly and more often without getting frustrated or bogged down with all of those fussy details. I am going to add some foam behind my title to help it stand up a little bit. Adding that little bit of dimension anywhere on your layout can help make it more interesting. It also casts a little bit of a shadow underneath of the title, which is nice for giving the impression of depth. You can also recreate this look using a cluster of separated florals down that left side, but because I had this beautiful paper from Cocoa Vanilla Studio, Merry and Bright, that already had that beautiful swag assembled, I figured, why cluster together 100 flowers when I have one swag already ready to go? And I loved this beautiful multicolored polka dot on the back, which is a beautiful background, and this photo stands out. I didn't want to add too much to this page because I wanted her beautiful face to be the focal image. I didn't want anything that was going to take away from this sweet, serene moment that is so rare with this particular daughter of mine. I do have 5 kids. This one is the second youngest, and she is a ball of energy. So when I could catch her in these little serene moments, these quiet moments where she's actually calm, it's really a special photo for me because they are so rare. So now that I have my title in place, I am going to bring in a few smaller florals to scatter on top, again giving that impression of depth through layering, and these don't have to go up on foam at all. You can clearly see they are separate pieces from the large cluster, and so they add just a little bit more texture and the appearance of depth to this beautiful swath of florals. Now, I am a huge fan of florals myself, and I do try to squeeze them on as many layouts as I can because it brings me so much joy to see them. I am going to bring in some smaller little floral pieces here around the edge of the large swath of florals, and those will help add a little bit of detail and just kind of finish off the layout. I also added this little quote here at the top left just to break up the florals a little bit and give it a little bit more of a linear feel. I will also add a journaling spot up there at the top as well. But first, these tiny little florals that I have fussy cut out of a 6x8 piece of paper are perfect for my scattering. And this is the detail work that I do at the end of every layout, where I add a ton of smaller little pieces around my clusters just to make them feel more alive and a little bit more dynamic. So I'm going to add several different colors, scattering them in sort of random places around this floral cluster, and then I'll come in with some Nuvo drops and some ink splatter to finish it off. Now, I didn't have a ton of journaling to add to this layout, but I did want to just mention that this is a rare moment. This is a beautiful moment of serenity and the little smile that she's got on her face. I just love this photo, and I really wanted to do it justice with a stunning but simple 9x12 layout. Now, I did decide this needed a border around the outside just to finish it off, and this pink is stunning. It is perfect for this layout, and I thought it brought in more of that warm tone that I added with the wood grain matte, and it would just fit right in with the pinks and the reds in the floral clusters. So I am trimming off about a 1/4 inch from each two sides of the layout, and then I will go ahead and gut this pink paper, which means to take out the center of it so that I'm not wasting any of its gloriousness and can use the inside piece on a future layout. I really don't like to waste any of my Cocoa Vanilla products because they are my absolute favorite, and so I do hoard them just a little bit, and this is one of the ways that I do that is by gutting out these background pieces so that I don't waste all of this paper behind my design, because you're not going to see the rest of that pink, and so this little border is all that this layout really needs. To see the sketch and some still photos of this layout, be sure to stay to the end of the video, and you can also check out the Cocoa Vanilla blog at www.cocovanilla.com.au, and you will have a lot more still photos and descriptions there of each step that I took to create this layout and how much I enjoy this photo. Now, this is a small cut apart piece of a label, and I'm going to go ahead and tuck that into the top of my photo for just a small amount of journaling. Now, in the sketch that I made, I gave you an area to the right of the photo to add more journaling if you wanted to add quite a bit, but since I just had a few sentences to add in, I decided to put it up at the top instead so that I wasn't just having a couple of sentences floating off into space on the right. Had I had more to say for this photo, I definitely would have put it in to the right. Now, the sketch is in 12x12, as all of the sketches that I make are, and that way I am showing you how to use it in 9x12 or a smaller layout, but you can definitely use it in a 12x12 as well. So now that I have my journaling done, I am going to go ahead with that Nuvo for my controlled splattering, and then I'll come in with Heidi Swap Color Shine for some uncontrolled splattering. I'm really enjoying using this Merry and Bright collection. It's a beautiful and soft modern take on a Christmas collection, and I really enjoy that there isn't a heavily snow or winter weather theme to it, because Cocoa Vanilla is based in Australia and they celebrate summer Christmas, not winter Christmas. But for me, I live in the South in the United States. We don't really get snow, and so this is a nice change for me as well. I hope you've enjoyed this layout. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and until next time, bye!